The shiur is dedicated to Rachalea ben Reb Chaim Tzvi, to be Leilu Nishmata. We're in Kohelet, we're doing Perek Yud. This Perek has a very interesting topic. Its topic is dealing with human complexity. So before I even go into this whole topic of human complexity, since you may be wondering, oh, she's complex, she looks different than last time. The reason why I'm not wearing the sheitel that I usually wear is I'm going to the States, God willing, on Thursday morning, and my sheitel is with the sheitel lady. So wish me well. Okay, our Perek, as I said, is about human complexity, and he speaks about it from many angles. The first angle that he looks at things from is that we're neither completely good nor completely bad. Nobody is. So let's see how he treats it. Zevuvei mavet yav ish yabi shemen rokech yakar. He says, flies who are doomed to death. Now, which flies are doomed to death? All flies are doomed to death. But Rashi, quoting the Midrash, said that this is a reference to flies in the winter, where you could look at them and you see their frailty and you see that they're on the way out. Okay. Yavish yabi shemen rokeach. They're bad, and they're going to bring their badness to fragrant oil, yakar, which is expensive. So the parable here is that if you have some flies that fall into the oil, then all of the oil will go, even though the oil is the majority and the fly is the minority, and the fly is dried out and fragile anyway, it'll still spoil the oil. And this is the same thing that happens when you look to what happens, when you look from what occurs to wisdom, to prestige, when it's mixed with a little foolishness. So what this means is a little bit of foolishness can take a person or an idea and corrupt it totally. So the example that the Midrash gives here is Korach. Korach, what was wise in him? He objectively saw his situation. He was too big for his role. This was true. However, Hashem had a plan. The plan was that he was going to create an office called Levi Gadol, very similar to Kohen Gadol. But Korach at that point lost himself. He couldn't wait that long. So what happened is that he, as we know, he waged war against Moshe. He tried to devalue Aaron. He lost everything because of a little bit of foolishness. So what brings about foolishness? What takes a person out of reality? So as we know, Chazal tell us that there are three forces that remove a person from reality: Kina, Tava, and Kavod. So let's look at these three so we could see how to notice their occurrence and what to do when we feel them there. So the first is Kina. So Kina is the illusion that if someone else has more, that means I must have less. Which in Korach's case would mean if Moshe is the head of the people and Aaron is the Kohen Gadol, that must mean that I'm less of a Korach than I would be otherwise. But the fact is, it's not so at all. We are who we are, and we're not in competition with anybody else. So in Ruchnius, there are no limitations. You could be your absolute maximum self. The problem is that we use the Gashmi, the physical way of measuring what having and not having are. So as we all know, if I had 2 cookies and I gave away 1, I'd only have 1. So the physical world is limited. So because of that, we take the same model and we apply it to the emotional world, the intellectual world, the spiritual world, and we see somebody else having more as meaning I have less, which is a terrible tragedy. So there are therefore 2 focuses that have to be maintained. The first focus is saying I have exactly what I need for what I'm supposed to achieve in life. Because in the end, Hashem is the one who moderates that. So therefore, what I have is totally disconnected to what anybody else has. But there's another thought, and this in some ways is even more significant. Believing that what I have to do in life is as significant as what somebody else has to achieve. So I'll give you a concrete example of the kind of situation that could evoke jealousy very readily. Suppose you had a job, and you were working there for 15 years, and you felt very secure. You have your coffee mug, it has your name, it's hanging near the coffee area. You bring your own flavored coffee to work with you. Everyone knows you. Your kids' pictures are in a frame on your desk. It's a second home. And somebody new is hired. And they're faster than you. Or more charismatic than you. Or whatever it is. But there's something that's more. And you see that more assignments are going to the new person because she does them faster. Possibly she does them better. She has not cut any corners. She's not been obnoxious. She hasn't tried to devalue you in any way. She's not impolite. She isn't trying to shove you out. But she's getting all of the better assignments. And time passes. And times are hard. And it's clear that someone's going to go. And you're in your heart, you know